Hi, I'm Susanna. I'm an indie author working on the fourth draft of my current work in progress, which I'm calling Project Prehistory. Last week I decided to try something new and went to a little writing retreat in a small town in eastern Finland called Savonlinna. Here's a vlog of everything I did, so if that sounds interesting, keep watching. As you can see, it was an early rise to get to the train. I had read chapter 26 the previous night and could start editing the moment I got on the train. I had been scared that I might be distracted by the noise, but editing went surprisingly well. I edited the first scene, 576 words, in little over an hour, and moved on to the next scene, which was a bit more slow going. It took me 2 hours to edit 434 words, but at that point I had to change trains and decided not to continue walking, but instead to enjoy the scenery. So I just got to the hotel. This is my room. It's a really big room for just one person for one night. And the view is great. You can see the church on the other side. A little bit of the city. Water. Lakes. That's the mirror. And the bed. There's some tea and hot chocolate and coffee. And here's the bathroom. And there's a poster of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. And a little desk and chair were working, but before I continue to work, I'm going to go outside to see the city. The first place I visited is the main attraction of Savonlinna. Olavinlinna Castle, or the Castle of St. Olaf, is a medieval castle over 500 years old, and it was easily within a walking distance from the hotel. 3 of the castle's original 5 round towers remain. Rectangular towers are easier to build, but round towers can withstand cannon fire better, so if a castle has round towers, it has probably been built after cannons were invented. Something that might be interesting to know if you're writing a fantasy novel with castles. The building work of the castle began in 1475, and the castle has been upgraded over the centuries. You can actually see this in the towers. The grey stone is part of the original castle, and the brick parts have been added later when the towers were made taller. As cannons became more prevalent, bastions, triangle-shaped structures were added so the castle could be defended to all directions. The castle was originally at the border, but as the borders changed, the castle lost its military importance. In the mid-19th century, the castle functioned as a prison for a short while, but then it fell out of use until it was made a heritage site and renovated in the late 19th century and restored again in the 1960s and 70s. There's a small exhibition and a room with activities for children, but the majority of the castle you can only see with a guided tour, which is included in the admission price. There are tours in Finnish, Swedish and English. A word of warning though, there are a lot of awkward medieval staircases, so the castle is not accessible if you have mobility issues. You aren't allowed to film the tour, so I don't have footage from inside of the castle, but I highly recommend the tour. We got to see inside the church tower with its chapel and the medieval toilets, which you can see poking out from the 2 closest towers here. The castle is on an island, so occasionally you might have to wait for a while to get back to the town if ships are passing through the strait. Almost next to the castle there's another museum. I bought a joint ticket to visit both places. The museum is really small, so I must admit I'm glad I didn't pay full price for the ticket. As Savonlinna is located by Lake Saimaa, ships and sailing form an important part of the museum. However, as my current work in progress is set in a prehistoric world, what interested me the most were the prehistoric finds. There were some pottery shards and stone tools, as well as a Bronze Age necklace, as well as a prehistoric boat and a replica of a fishing net. My favorite animal is a Saimaa ringed seal, and as half of the world's Saimaa ringed seal population lives around Savonlinna, there was obviously a lot of information about this endangered seal species in the museum. And you could find seal statues all over the city. After the museums, I walked around the town a little and bought some snacks and drinks for the evening before heading back to the hotel, where I could find some more Saimaa ringed seal facts in the elevators. I got some drinks and snacks, water, Coca-Cola, strawberries, this is a chocolate mousse dessert, chicken feta salad, there's a pastry and a blueberry muffin which I'm saving for tomorrow. I also got a little Saimaa ringed seal soft toy as a souvenir. Fun fact, I've been collecting soft toy seals since I was 2 or 3 years old, so this will make a nice addition to my collection. After the salad and dessert, I went back to editing. I know I usually show myself typing because it makes more interesting footage, but majority of my editing is actually just me staring at the computer screen thinking. I did finish editing scene 2 relatively fast, and as the weather was so nice, I decided to take another break for a little walk around the town. I found another seal statue, see if you can spot it on the rock in the middle of the river, and a statue of a Finnish writer Joel Lehtonen, who helpfully provided me motivation to get back and continue edits. I edited one more scene 3, which had exactly 500 words, and after having edited 1900 words in a day, I decided to call it a night. I made myself a cup of hot chocolate to go with the pastry and spent the rest of the evening with a book. The hotel breakfast was included in the price, so I started the next morning by enjoying some toast and cereal and croissant and cakes before getting back to the room to edit some more before my train would leave. I edited scene 4, 431 words, and started on scene 5, but the beginning of that scene was a bit tricky and I didn't have a lot of time left, so I only edited 150 words before it was time to leave for the next destination. I'm glad I had a nice weather the day before because the second day dawned really grey and rainy, but I did spot some nice sculpture near one of the train stations on the way. I continued on to Joensuu, another town in eastern Finland, to visit my mother. My birthday had been a week earlier, so we went to celebrate it with a nice lunch and hot chocolate and cheesecake before doing some birthday shopping in a bookstore. I first checked the fiction paperbacks. Before heading to the fantasy shelves. And here's what I picked up. I have yet to read Suzanne Collins's Hunger Games prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I haven't read Lee Bardugo's Chrysaor's books either. I got the whole Shadow and Bones trilogy, Shadow and Bones, Siege and Storm, and Ruin and Rising. I also got some editing done while I was at my mother's. I continued with scene 5, the last scene of chapter 26, and finished the remaining about 1000 words. I also read the next chapter, chapter 27, so I could start editing it on the train back home. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling very well during the train ride, so editing the first scene felt like drinking tar, as we say in Finland. But I walked slowly while enjoying some of the scenery, and by the end of the 4.5-hour train ride, I had managed to edit the first scene with its 568 words. After I came home, I went to another bookstore because I had a gift card that I wanted to use up. So here are the books from the second book haul. First, Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. This is an ancient retelling. The next 3 books are fantasy. The Library of Broken Worlds by Alaya Dawn Johnson. The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. And Song of Silver, Flame Like Night by Amelie Wen Chao. There are 39 chapters in the manuscript in total, so I'm now 67% done with draft 4. My goal is to finish the first pass of the 4th draft by the end of October. If you want to see whether I can manage it, you can subscribe for more and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. And if you like this vlog, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next video.